fasten your seatbelt. I am taking you for the ride of your life. I'm going to show you what this car can really do. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Hang on.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hold on to your butts.
Go get him, kid.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Not a tumor at all.
F? What you're going to ask me. So you can go ahead and ask me what you're going to ask me. And my natural response could be to get offended.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
All right.
You're listening to the 30-something movie podcast. One movie each week, 30 years in the making. It's the 30-something movie podcast. This time, we're going to double your fun with a little double impact.
Mm-hmm.
A little twin action with JCVD.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right. This is our second movie of 1991. Last week, we did The Rocketeer. So hope you enjoyed that one. One of my favorite movies. So we're excited to talk about that one. Double Impact is our movie this time around. If you want to check out more about our podcast, head on over to our website, 30podcast.com. You can rate and review the show there. Check out old episodes. You can leave us a voicemail directly from the website there, and you can join us on Patreon. There's exclusive episodes that you get, other benefits, depending on what tier you support us at. But we would love for you to become a co-executive producer of the show and join us over there. Any amount of support on Patreon will get you access to the exclusive monthly episodes that we do over there. So I have with me this time around Patrick and Bo. Pat, how you doing?
Great, John. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Doubly excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Bo, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, John.
Good stuff. All right. So this time around, we are doing, I think I had the song queued up. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Is this the one we were looking for earlier?
Jump back and get ready, because I'm gonna even the score. You thought I wouldn't be back for more, but I feel the fire burning in my soul.
That's right. I don't know the song well enough to sing along to it. I mean, I know the chorus when we get there, but...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no James Horner from last week, but it's okay. There we go. Feel that impact. All right. So, gentlemen, I do have some news for us. We have another Patreon patron.
That's great.
Yeah. So
how cool is that?
Our new Patreon patron is Jonathan Tweedy. He's at JE Tweedy on Twitter. And his Twitter description here says that he is a senior web developer at UNC Chapel Hill with a background in Germanic linguistics from IU Bloomington. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
And he listens to the Surely You Can't Be Serious podcast and listens to us as well. And he just joined us as a co-executive producer on Patreon. And he joined us at the level where he's going to pick a movie for us to watch and discuss. So
nice.
Cool. So once I find out from him what movie we're going to be discussing, then we'll pop that in there. And yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Jonathan. All right. Well, our movie this time around is Double Impact. It came out on the 9th of August, 1991, rated R, runtime of 1 hour, 50 minutes, directed by Sheldon Lettich, who also did Lionheart and The Last Patrol. Producers on this one were Ashok Amritraj, who also did The Boondock Saints and Get Carter. Paul Michael Glazer, who was Starsky from the original Starsky and Hutch. And he also he was also producer on The Running Man. Jean-Claude Van Damme, who also was a producer for Universal Soldier: The Return and JCVD. And Rick Bieber was one of the other producers. He did Crazy and Flatliners. Pat, I bet I could die for 5 minutes.
I I'm definitely gonna die in 6.
Okay, I'm gonna do $1.
Okay.
$1.
All right, man.
Actual retail value of death. Writers on this one were Sheldon Lettich, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Steve Mearson and Peter Crykes. Lettich also wrote Bloodsport and Rambo 3. Van Damme wrote Kickboxer and Lionheart. Mearson and Crykes both wrote Star Trek 4 and Yoga Hosers. You guys ever seen
Yoga Hosers?
Have you ever seen Yoga Hosers?
No.
I have not.
I mean, yeah. It's written and directed by Kevin Smith, and I'm usually a big Kevin Smith fan.
Mm-hmm.
I made it maybe 30 minutes into this movie, and then I said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and usually I won't look at Rotten Tomatoes before I watch a movie or any of the other critic ones before I watch a movie. But I got about 30 minutes into this movie. It's only an hour and 28 minutes long, so it's not a long movie anyway. I got 30 minutes into this movie. I said, nope, life is too short. And then I went to go look it up, and on like Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes, it gets like a 23%. So I felt good that I felt validated in my choice to not waste any more time on it.
Did he just make this so his kid could be in a movie?
I really think so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's his kid and Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, pretty much. and actually, that's the right response, Bo. So I don't know.
He got Tony Hale though.
Oh no, I mean there's some decent people in it, but
Haley Joel Osment. Good Lord.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, feel free, but
teenage yoga enthusiasts must do battle with an evil presence is threatening to rise from its underground lair and endanger their major party plans.
I mean, doesn't that sound like it would be good?
It could be.
Right. I was excited.
What the hell?
After about 25 minutes, I was less excited.
The excitement went away.
It waned very much. Very, very much.
I am.
Are you intrigued?
Blown away, intrigued, concerned.
Okay. Just keep in mind, this might end up being a little bit like the Jesus Rolls.
Oh, it looks a lot like it in the pictures that I'm clicking through.
Yeah, I think I got through just about as much of the Jesus Rolls, too. Yeah. So let's see. Cinematography on this one was done by Richard H. Klein, who died in 2018. He also did, it's a shame Dennis is not here. He also did cinematography for Howard the Duck.
That's his favorite.
that old classic. The Andromeda Strain and Soylent Green. Spoiler alert. It's people.
It's people.
Music. There was a joke on that. I think it was on was it on Simpsons or something else? No, actually, it was a clue on Jeopardy. Sometimes we'll go back and rewatch old episodes of Jeopardy on Netflix, and that was one of the clues. And it's like I forget what the clue was, but it was something about Soylent Green, and the clue was something like it's in this movie. It's not this. It's actually people. And I was like, oh yeah, Soylent Green. And Nora was like, wait, what was that clue? I was like, yeah, it's a food that people eat in this movie. Wait.
Wait.
But he just said it's people. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the twist at the end of the movie is Soylent Green is people.
People's okay.
people's is people's okay.
Are turning in Nora's head just as she's like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
that means okay.
Yeah, that didn't quite jive. Yeah. People's is potatoes. People's Soylent Green is people's. We have successfully I think we just call it quits. Episode 335, whatever this one is. We have successfully matched up the Muppets and Soylent Green. I think that's the high note we leave on.
I think that's canon now.
Mm-hmm.
I did wonder where Kermit ended up.
Mm-hmm. On a beach with a statue of Miss Piggy sticking up out of the sand.
Mm-hmm.
They finally did it. Let's see. Music was done by Arthur.
Island with Rapa Nui.
Yes. Arthur Kemple did the music. He died in 2004. He also did Behind Enemy Lines and the Father Dowling Mysteries TV series. Budget on this one was somewhere around 16 million. Box office was 80.5 million.
What?
Yeah. That's what blows my mind. The box office on this was like double that. Well, double impact was like double what it was for The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this was big time for Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Big time for martial arts style movies.
Yeah.
I still don't know how it made that much money.
I know.
Yeah, and I get confused with The Rocketeer because even that list that you mentioned, is it the list that you mentioned next week or the list that you mentioned last week for The Rocketeer?
Last week, Rocketeer, yeah.
Last week when you mentioned the list for The Rocketeer, none of those movies were family movies. I mean, everything there was, it was like R-rated or so. So I mean, The Rocketeer was like the family movie that was on that list. So
yeah,
I don't know. Weird time.
Yeah.
Weird time, 1991.
Mm-hmm. Go home, 91. You're drunk.
Yeah.
Flick Metrics gives this one a 49%. Cinema Score gives it a B+. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme as Alex and or Chad Wagner. I don't know. It's just the names Alex and Chad. I don't look at Jean-Claude Van Damme and think of Alex or Chad.
Is it the Chad? It might be the Chad.
Go one step further and have it be Chaz.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in Bloodsport, Universal Soldier, JCVD, and Time Cop. Jeffrey Lewis, who died in 2015, played Frank Avery. He was in Maverick and The Devil's Rejects. Alonna Shaw played Danielle Wilde. She was in King of New York and Cyborg Cop. Karina Everson played Kara. She was in Natural Born Killers, Lois and Clark. And if I squinted a little bit, she would have looked like Famke Janssen in GoldenEye. She had some of the same leg moves, let's say.
She was a rather muscular person.
Yes, she was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
wasn't there that scene? I mean, we're jumping ahead quite a bit. Wasn't there that scene in like one of the final fights in the factory or whatever it was, where didn't she like leap on the guy's head and like try to crush him with her thighs? Yeah.
But she's even like walking around at one point, and it's just like I watch that and I'm like, okay, I got to go do squats or leg lifts or something because holy cow, yeah, she's a pretty muscular gal. That's all I'm gonna say.
I was trying to figure out what Famke Janssen's character's name was in GoldenEye. Xenia. I couldn't remember the first name. Xenia Onatopp. Because that's how we named the Bond girls.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's see who else was in this one. Philip Chan played Raymond Zhang. He was in Hard Boiled and Super Cop. Alan Scarf played Nigel Griffith. He was in Lethal Weapon 3 and Andromeda. Bolo Yeung played Moon. He was in Enter the Dragon and Bloodsport. And that guy's muscles have muscles.
Oh,
How about it?
Yeah.
I know.
That's like, I remember when I was in middle school and I first started to try to draw like comic book characters. And I would like overly exaggerate the amount of muscles that they had. I think subconsciously I was drawing him.
Yeah.
I was drawing Bolo.
That was your model?
Probably. I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
Andy Armstrong played Paul Wagner. He was a stuntman on the Amazing Spider-Man movies, both the first and the second. Stuntman for Thor and stuntman on the Green Hornet movie. Sarah Jane Varley played Catherine Wagner. She was in The Old Curiosity Shop and Howard's Way. Nearly 25 years after seeing his father killed by Hong Kong crime boss Raymond Zhang, Chad Wagner is living in Los Angeles as a flourishing yet peaceful martial arts trainer. But Chad has a twin brother, Alex, also played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, who suddenly reunites with his less aggressive sibling and wants to avenge his father's death. As the pair plan their payback against Zhang, they also struggle to overcome their personal differences.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. He always makes an impact. ready for double impact.
There's two of them. Think about it.
Van Damme times 2.
He looks exactly like you.
Me?
Twin brothers reunited on a mission.
Watch my back.
To avenge their parents' death. One packs a punch. One packs a piece.
Look good to me.
Together, they deliver double impact.
Excuse me.
From Hollywood to the Far East. On land. On sea. And in the air. They're damn quick.
Express service.
Damn cool. Damn hot.
So now what do we do? That's what I love about you.
Van Damme times 2. Double the fun.
I would never in my life wear black silk underwear. I'm with you on that one.
And double the Van Damage. Double impact. Double the Van Damage. That's a great. That trailer is just fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here comes the question.
Well, I see how it made some money with that trailer.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. If you like action movies, who's not going to go see it after seeing that trailer?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And with the amount of times that they did the little kind of play on words with his last name, how many kids are not going to try to sneak into that movie?
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
They kept saying the D word. I'm going to go see that now. So we'll start off with this one. When was the first time you saw this movie?
2 days ago.
That was actually the same for me. It was about a week ago.
I saw it sometime in college, late high school ish, when that's basically all I watched were martial arts movies. So they all kind of run together. But yeah, that's when I first saw it, was back in the day.
Okay. That's kind of, yeah, I kind of picture if I was watching this, it would have been around that time. Like it would have been around the time that I was in like a Jackie Chan phase, or, just trying to pick up some different martial arts movies, things like that. I feel like that would have been, I had my weekends in college when I'd go to the video store that had like all the different foreign films and all the crazy VHS tapes you couldn't find at like Blockbuster and things like that. I feel like this would have been one of my weekends where I would have gotten a couple of different, I probably would have gotten like Bloodsport, this one, a couple other ones, and just spent a good weekend going through some martial arts movies. But no, did not see this one until about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Pat, how does this movie make you feel?
I have fun. There's parts that I laugh at. The fight scenes are fun. I enjoy it. I mean, it's fun watching Jean-Claude Van Damme on screen. I mean, that's it. It's just fun watching him on screen. Yeah, there's cheesy things. Yeah, there's real cringeworthy things. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I love that they always seem to fit in the slow-mo of some really fantastical kind of like leaping kick that, Van Damme is doing. Yeah, it's just fun. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, what about you? How's this one make you feel?
Be honest, man.
I don't have the word is the problem. It was fine. It was fine. I really didn't. I think that's why I'm having so much trouble with the word. I don't think it made me feel much of anything. It was a movie, and like Pat made a good point. The fight scenes were decent. I mean, it's a Van Damme movie. Of course they're going to be. It was the rest of the movie that wasn't working for me.
Was there a rest of the movie?
Well, and that's part of it, I think. It was so thin on plot that I, had trouble getting into it, I think was my problem.
Yeah.
Some of the early, I don't want to jump down the movie's throat in the first 5 minutes, but some of the early stuff was so painful.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and then I can't even remember what it took. I feel like it was Frank looking at him weird that finally made everybody believe that everything they were saying was true. It was just very, I don't know. I feel like there was maybe 10 minutes of movie missing in a couple places.
Yes. Well, story-wise, not the strongest in the world.
And honestly, I think this could have been fit into like a 45-minute TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, and that's what I think happened is it just seems kind of stretched out. Like the plot kind of gets you from one fight scene to the other. Now, again, no one's asking me to write them a movie, so I'm not going to pan it and all that kind of thing. But I think, yeah, there's enough dialogue to kind of give you a general idea. But, they don't really ever explore why the one brother was so insanely jealous of everyone going near his girlfriend. They don't explain a lot of stuff. And I think if this was like a TV show, I think you'd trim a lot of the extra stuff off that, kind of like a sidewalk that leads to nowhere. You know what I mean? To get rid of them, of all that.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought was kind of funny when I was looking up some stuff on this is here. Let's see. So I'll pull this up on Wikipedia. Is that this is loosely based off of an Alexandre Dumas book.
Mm-hmm.
So like Three Musketeers, Count of Monte Cristo, that stuff. And here's just like a real quick version of the plot of the book. The story starts in March 1841. Narrator travels to Corsica. It's called The Corsican Brothers, and stays at the home of the widow, Savilla de Franchi, who lives near Olmedo and Solicaro. She is the mother of former conjoined twins Louis and Lucien. Louis is Louis probably is a lawyer in Paris, while Lucien clings to his Corsican roots and stays at his mother's home. The brothers were separated at birth by a doctor with his scalpel. Despite being separated, Louis and Lucien can still feel each other's emotions even at a distance. Lucien explains he has a mission to undertake with reluctance. He has to mediate in a vendetta between the Orlandi and Colonna families, and invites the narrator to accompany him and meet the head of the Orlandi family. So apparently that was the source material to get them started with this. The other thing that I had read on this too was Jean-Claude Van Damme wanted to do a movie in which he could play kind of a softer version of himself. Or as he put it, he's like, that's actually closer. I think he said Chad is a little bit more him than Alex is, even though in most of his movies he comes across as like the very cold, tough guy. I think he wanted to kind of soften his image a little bit. According to IMDb, it says that he wanted to play twins in order to help change his image. And this is a quote from Van Damme. He said, "One of them is violent and the other is not, so the audience can see the contrast in my work. This picture has comedy, romance, a love story, so it is not all action and fighting. When I fight on screen, I blend dancing and fighting. Grace plus power is very nice." Okay. All right. When I look at Jean-Claude Van Damme, I don't think I have seen any of his movies that is not a martial arts fighting movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't think of too many other movies. Now, I remember my dad saw JCVD and said he really liked it, and that it's almost kind of like a movie where he is himself in real life, but he keeps getting into situations where he has to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. I haven't seen it. I think I started to watch it one time and just never could finish it. Not for lack of interest, just for some reason wasn't able to finish it. I mean, I don't know that I look at him and really think of any examples of where he's done comedy or romance or anything other than martial arts. I think it's just kind of, that's what I think of you.
Yeah, I think I agree. And I think, it's kind of like with a grain of salt when he says, this movie has it all. It's going to have this. It's going to have that. It's kind of like, okay, they'll have those elements, but it's all under the shroud of this is a martial arts movie.
Right. So yeah, I'm not sure if he is able to do quite what Schwarzenegger was able to do. You know, you see some of Schwarzenegger's movies, and he really, I mean, he knocks it out of the park with the humor.
Right.
You know, and he's been able to play some other serious roles in the last few years or so. But yeah, I still, when it comes down to it, it's not a Schwarzenegger movie unless he's punching somebody.
Mm-hmm. Well, and sorry, the mute bumped. This I want to throw out there too is as I was watching it, I'm thinking like, what would be happening now if they were going to make a movie? And honestly, I don't want to say we're kind of beyond the time of the martial arts movie star or the action movie star, but where everything else in the world seems to become more is sectionalized, not sexualized, sectionalized, categorized.
Well,
you know,
when he's in that yoga studio, I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's the best part. It's in the yoga studio, and then he comes down and like all the karate uniforms are pastels too.
Yeah, that was hysterical.
Oh, you want to see my kick, huh? You want to see my kick? And it's just like, yeah, dude, he wants to see your kick because you're going to end up flat on your. Oh, there you go. But my point, and I'm getting, off my track here. I think my point is, back in the day, you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, you had Jackie Chan. You still have Jackie Chan. You still have Jean-Claude Van Damme. You still have Arnold Schwarzenegger. But it was like you would bring these guys in and do a martial arts movie, right? Or an action movie. And nowadays, I don't think you do that. I think you put the actor into like 5 months of like martial arts classes for 8 hours a day, or, here's my diet and my, blah, 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 to get buffed up and I'm going to do all these fight classes. And now are they really going to be an accomplished, martial art practitioner? Well, maybe some of them are, but at the very least, they can look somewhat convincing when they do the fight scenes, and nothing against these actors, nothing against them at all. But it's like, you're going to make an action movie with, some pretty phenomenal fight sequences. So Keanu Reeves is an action star now. Like he was in karate, like not karate, but martial arts classes for months and months and months. Matt Damon, months and months and months. So it's like that pure action star person. Are they gone now? Because now we just take the actor that we want and give them enough martial arts classes to look good. I don't.
Well, and I don't know that you have too many like dedicated martial arts movies right now. At least not that are being made in America.
Well, I
feel like your closest example would be, you've got like Cobra Kai. It's either Cobra Kai or it's something like, something like Kung Fury, where it's almost a parody of the martial arts movie. I'm not sure that you're getting too many. At least I can't think of any off the top of my head, too many martial arts movies that are serious. Well, I don't say this one's necessarily serious, but, serious martial arts movies that are dedicated martial arts movies. You're really not getting too many of those made right now.
Right. Well, and to be honest, like back in the day, even how many dedicated martial arts movies did you really get that weren't like a total niche film, right? I mean, it was really Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out and was, released over here. And that was epic and huge because that was one of the first crossovers. And then Jackie Chan was like the big martial arts star, but then he did Rush Hour. And, they talked about how, over when he would be making those martial arts movies overseas, they'd train for like practice for 3 weeks just to do a 5-minute fight scene. Whereas over here, they might take 5 minutes to get ready for a fight scene and just film it quick, so it was, I remember Jackie Chan like doing an interview talking about the differences between a martial arts movie and a movie with martial arts in it. And so I don't know, this just seemed like but like a certain time period where there were movies for that and there were actors that were dedicated to that thing.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that this movie was his attempt, because he was so well known in the, late 80s, early 90s for kickboxer, blood sport. I mean, that was what he was known for. And then, trying to break out of that mold by having a character that he could play. He could still play to his strengths and still have the character of Alex, but really trying to branch out and be able to do other things. I think of that as like, we mentioned Schwarzenegger before, but, thinking of Schwarzenegger and him, kind of going to Kindergarten Cop and going to Twins as his way of kind of breaking out of the action movie star to try other things, try comedy out and see how he does with it. And I think pretty successfully. I think this is an interesting movie because it's, I don't know, Bo, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I want to say it's not a great movie. I think because there's so many things plot wise that are, I mean, the plot's a bunch of Swiss cheese. Be careful where you step because there's a lot of stuff there were several times where as I'm watching this movie, I had to kind of stop for a minute. I was like, okay, whoa, hold on. Why are we here? What are we doing here? And I had to back it up just a little bit. Oh, okay. All right. So this is why, well, wait a minute. I now understand how we got here. Like, why are we here? And so there were a few times where that kind of like stuff didn't match up for me, watching the movie. So I think it's interesting that this was his attempt at trying to break that mold. And I don't really think he ever did. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think he quite escaped from that. I think Schwarzenegger was able to do that. He could do the comedy. He's still going to punch somebody every now and then, but he kind of showed he was charming enough to do the comedy. I'm not sure that Jean-Claude Van Damme is charming enough to be able to pull off the comedy piece. I think he's sincere in his desire to want to be seen as a serious actor, but sincerity does not breed charm. So I get the feeling that that's kind of what happened for him.
Yeah.
Now, the movie where I think actually in terms of his acting, he did a far better job of trying to show that he's not just an action star was Universal Soldier. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought that was a much better way of showing that he's a well-rounded actor than this one ever would. But maybe it's just because I like that movie more.
Yeah, maybe, but there's a reason that you like it more, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did find, we've talked about Canon films before. So I found a website that talked about, it's one of those things like 10 things you didn't know about Double Impact. And, and so number one on this list of 10 things you didn't know about Double Impact, this is from a website called bulletproofaction.com. And number one on this one, Double Impact, because I felt this the entire time I was watching this movie. So I'm glad that I'm glad that somebody else kind of pointed out the same thing. Double Impact can be traced back to Jean-Claude Van Damme's roots with Menachem Golan and Cannon films. Golan, who didn't believe Van Damme had what it took to be a star, going so far as to call him Poison, changed his tune after the worldwide success of Bloodsport. Golan reminded Van Damme that he had signed a 3-picture deal with Cannon and asked that Van Damme and writer-director Sheldon Lettich come in for a meeting. It was at that meeting that Van Damme and Lettich selected a script based on the novel The Corsican Brothers by Alexander Dumas, a story of two twins who are separated at birth. So it sounds like this movie got started as a Cannon film, and then when Cannon fell apart, they're like, all right, it's still not a bad idea.
Yeah. Explains a few things.
Yeah. No, I'm watching this movie. I'm like, this would fit. So if I didn't know that Cannon was over and done with, well before 1991, I would have totally thought this was a Cannon film. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. What else did I see in here that I thought was kind of funny? Oh, yeah. This one. One of the benefits of filming the bulk of the movie in Hong Kong is the production didn't have to worry about pesky little things like filming permits. For example, when Chad and Danielle are running through the streets of Hong Kong, those are not extras in the streets. They're just actual Hong Kong citizens going about their day.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Another thing on this list, one of the more memorable death scenes, spoiler alert, one of the more memorable death scenes in Double Impact is when Bolo Yeung's character Moon is electrocuted. The director Sheldon Lettich admitted that Moon's demise was inspired by Odd Job's electrocution at the hands of James Bond and Goldfinger.
All right. That works. I mean, it's still fun to see the electricity take.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Like and I think that's one other thing that it's kind of interesting about Jean-Claude Van Damme's movies is he, give him credit, even if his movies maybe are not of the highest quality, he at least is not afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some, even like the love scenes in this movie. Now, yes, minus the sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Now, I've never taken any mind-altering substances, but I feel like watching those scenes I had.
I wondered if that was the intent.
I kind of get the feeling it was.
Yeah.
Well, that was the other thing too, is like that whole idea of the kind of the paranoia that that Alex's girlfriend is going to leave him for Chad.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that came from. Like that was kind of a weak point of the movie for me. I was like, why are you so?
Yeah.
Like,
that whole contrivance was strange.
Yeah. I'm like, we're forcing this. I'm not seeing this anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
It took me back to the show, don't tell days of creative writing class.
Yep.
So you're telling me that he's jealous. Well, why? Like what reason is she into black silk underwear?
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe, but
well, she did almost, undress him.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, what was the line?
It makes that character so one-dimensional because he's just so incensed.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat, what was the line? Is I hear all sorts of stuff every day, pal. You want some advice? Take your fancy clothes, your black silk underwear, and go back to Disneyland.
He was real fixated on his brother's underwear.
Yeah.
It was kind of strange.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was he's an interesting dude being portrayed there.
Lots of surprises in this movie. Big surprises.
Oh yeah.
Huge surprises.
Wait a minute. Did I miss part of it? Wait, what?
Oh. So we get to, as we get kind of further on in the movie, we get some other, just some fun, different action scenes. We get to, as we kind of get to the final fight at the end, you have the character of Moon, played by Bolo Yeung. And as I mentioned before, dude's muscles have muscles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that good grief.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to end up in a fight with either of those guys.
No.
I feel like you could just be crushed between their biceps.
A lot of that in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
91's turning out to be the year of the scary henchman.
Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. And just the funny thing, I mean, it was almost comical, kind of that look on Moon's face when he kind of faces him down during that kind of like that last fight scene. Like, dude, are you okay? That's a really intense look there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that in this movie. A lot of intense looks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those are all good faces, Bo. I wanted to share with the people who are listening to the audio at home.
I thought so. I was impressed with myself.
Hey, I'm always impressed with you.
I envy us.
Do you have a favorite quote from this movie? There's much like a Schwarzenegger movie. There's a lot of good one-liners in this one.
You hit one of the best with black silk underwear and go back to Disney World.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one that kind of is sticking out of my head.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite quote, John?
It's probably that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one takes the cake. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple that, are a little dated that are kind of amusing in their own way, but
Yeah.
Frisky one.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That was, that scene in particular, as I'm watching this, I'm like, huh, okay. 91. Like, how risque would that scene have been in 91? Definitely more than 2001.
Yeah.
10 years makes a difference.
I don't know. We go in cycles with that in this country. Excuse me. Just looking back to when the rating system changed and whatnot, I feel like what qualifies is so cyclical.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to risque. Like, I think language-wise, we hold a pretty good line, a pretty solid line. But the risque stuff, some movies get away with stuff that others wouldn't dare try, and it's a lot about the timing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think about some of the stuff in like Fast Times at Ridgemont High and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't dare put in a movie today.
Right.
Crazy when you think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and on top of it all, you look at what they'll do overseas in a mainstream film, and it's different yet. Like, there's just no solid line on any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is I would never pick a fight. We've got our 3 questions are coming up, and one of the questions has to do with, what celebrity would you fight? All I know is I would never pick a fight with her.
Well, no.
That might be kind of fun.
He gonna kill you.
Be kind of fun for 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But what a way to go, I guess.
I've got no rebuttal.
Now, if it was Monica Bellucci.
There you go.
There you go.
Now he's got a rebuttal.
Now I have a rebuttal.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can rebut.
Big rebuttal. Huge.
I'm just going to let that one sail by.
There you go.
That's a good call.
Yeah. That's probably for the best. All right. Well, do we have anything else we want to say about this one before we jump into our 3 questions? It's fun. It's goofy.
Yeah. It's an action movie, and I don't want to say that genre is going away, but it's like that. This is just kind of like a real sign of the late 80s, early 90s, just kind of pure action movie, just action.
Yeah.
And I think our conversation was like, I don't want to say halting. What am I trying to say? Again, the missing of the words. Our conversation was a little sporadic or a little abstract just because the movie was.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some things that were solid, but then the rest just kind of floated out there, and it was like, okay, now we're going over here. Oh, okay, now we're going to do this type of thing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What are we doing in this movie? Okay, we got to destroy that company, but okay, how are we doing it? Like all that stuff, it was just like, you know what? Just let it go. They'll give you enough to get to the next fight scene and why there's a fight scene, and you can just watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
And then the fight scene's done and it's like rinse and repeat. Okay, we're going to give you just enough to kind of be like, wait a minute, I think I can follow this because now they've got this is happening. Okay, fight scene's happening again. We're good. So,
yeah.
That's not a diss. It's a fun movie. Fun movie.
Yeah, I did read up somewhere that let's see. Was it actually going to be a third? No. Okay. That they wanted to do a sequel to this. Actually, Jean-Claude Van Damme wanted to do a sequel to this and call it Triple Impact.
Okay.
And I don't know. I was trying to look up this and see whether or not they would reveal like there's a third brother or if it would just be like that's what they would call the sequel to Double Impact. But I remember reading something about this. They were doing, you know what? Because they were doing a showing. This was back, was it last year? Yeah, last year. I think they were doing a showing of the movie at like an Alamo Draft House in Austin, Texas. And the director, Sheldon Lettich, was there. And he was talking with, I think kind of doing a Q&A type of thing. And a fan, so here it is in the article, a fan jokingly asked if there were plans for Triple Impact. Lettich responded, yep, Jean-Claude wanted to do that. However, Lettich would go on to explain that, quote, while a sequel was discussed for years, that perhaps the biggest reason one didn't happen was in fact due to the film's success. After being sold for distribution around the world, it became difficult for all the different international rights to be worked out for another film.
Okay.
It says, while a script was never written by Lettich and Van Damme, Lettich revealed that a story was discussed and being hammered out where Chad is back in Los Angeles, gets into trouble with the Chinese triads. The try. See, I get where that comes from. From there, Alex would have come back from Hong Kong and would basically be the emblematic bull in a china shop, re-teaming up with his brother to wreak havoc on the Chinese underworld, much like they did in the original Double Impact.
Huh. There you go.
So, yeah. All right. I think it's time for. I should have done 2 questions. This is Double Impact, but you get 3. You get 3 questions. You get 1 for free.
Yeah. Ask every question twice.
Never say I didn't do anything for you.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right, 3 questions. Question number 1. A little bit of a Fight Club question here. If you could fight any celebrity, who would you fight?
Make love, not war, man.
If you had to fight.
Is my goal here to win?
Can I learn from this person?
You learn from this person?
Can it be like training?
Sure. No, you have to beat the other person into submission.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That's not the right response.
Well, so now you've narrowed my list down to old men and children, because that's about all I can beat the submission at this point.
So I've knocked out the sub list of mud wrestling?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Which
old men and children? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's about the only thing I can win,
All right, so Bo's answer, I'm going to do both of them for you. Bo's answer is Benjamin Button.
There you go.
You get both simultaneously.
Oh, man. Tom Cruise, he's short. I might have a height advantage.
Okay.
He does all his own stunts, so I'm probably in trouble.
I'd fight Gandhi. No, I'm just kidding. That's not my answer. That's Fight Club.
Yeah.
I'd fight Lincoln. Big guy, big reach. Skinny guys fight till they're hamburger.
This is hard. I don't know. Who am I going to fight? Why don't you guys pick? Who should I fight?
You know, if I wanted to win, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I could block this or it just wouldn't be very effective in real life. I think I'm going to fight Captain Kirk.
All right, there you go.
Because his only move he's really got is like the two-handed punch.
True.
And I feel like the two-handed punch is
and
not
the big
as
bear hug.
Right, is not as effective as you probably think it is.
That's right. He's got the
Dun, 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 dun,
that
dun,
one. Yep.
dun, dun.
Right.
And he's got that like wrestling move where he jumps up and kicks you to the chest and falls to the ground.
That's right.
Dun, 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 dun.
And that's not my choice because of Fight Club. I know I've already, mentioned Fight Club a couple of times, but I know his line in the movie is Shatner. I'd fight William Shatner. Yeah, I'd fight Kirk. I totally think I could. He goes with that two-handed punch move, and I don't know. I feel like that's easy to avoid.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't pack as much impact as a one-handed punch. But I guess they punch differently in the future.
Yeah. Guys, I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to fight. A stormtrooper.
There you go.
With a gaffy stick.
With a gaffy stick. It is.
In the library.
In the library. A stormtrooper with a gaffy stick. There it is. Got it. Done.
There you go.
Dusted.
Done. Question 2.
Good team effort. Good team effort. Thanks, guys. Thanks, team.
All right. Bo, did we settle on yours? Other than Benjamin?
Tom Cruise, he was short.
Oh, Tom Cruise. That's right. Yeah. Short guy. You can just put your hand on his head.
There you go.
Do one of those things where he's like trying to swing at you, and yeah. All right. Let's see. Number 2, favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme role.
I think it's Lionheart.
Okay.
But I really have to watch that and Bloodsport over again to really make up my mind. But like right now, I say Lionheart.
Okay.
I think.
I got to go Universal Soldier. I like that one.
Nice.
I'm going to say Street Fighter.
Okay.
Who does he play? Does he play Guile in that one?
He does.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I've never seen that from beginning to end.
That's understandable.
Okay. And I was such a huge Street Fighter fan when the game was out, Street Fighter 2 and all of its 50 million versions.
There's an amazing episode of the podcast, How Did This Get Made?
Yeah.
About that movie.
Okay.
There is some crazy stories about that movie.
I'm still curious as to how they got Raul Julia.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, he was not a well man at the time.
Yeah.
He was very, very sick.
Yeah.
And there was lots of white powder on set.
Gotcha. Colombian marching dust, I believe, is.
Yes.
Robin Williams used to call it.
Yes.
Man.
All right, last question. If you had a twin, would you rather have a twin brother or a twin sister? 3B, which one would you fight?
Well, if it's a sibling, I'll fight with any of them anytime. Between a boy and a girl, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a preference. I don't have a druthers.
Yeah.
I'd probably rather have a twin brother. Although the world does not need two of me, let's be honest. So, yikes.
Bobo. There you go. You just,
Wait a minute. John, what did you say your favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme role was?
Universal Soldier.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Pat. I'm sorry.
No worries.
We're all basically the same person at this point.
Yeah, we are the triple impact.
We are the triple impact.
There it is.
or the quintuple impact if you count me and Bo twice.
Exactly.
And you know.
That movie's called The Five Finger Discount.
Oh no.
Let's see. If I had a twin, whatever, a twin brother, twin sister, yeah, I don't know if the world needs another me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd say sister. I don't know. I feel like a twin brother, my identity would get lost. But I'm not a twin, so I've never experienced that, so I don't know. But I don't care as long as you get to have that cool twin telepathy stuff.
Mm.
Like Zamos and Tamont or whatever their names were.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go for that.
Right on.
All right. Well, I think we've solved the world's problems. Would you say we've made an impact on the world?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. We've made an impact, all right.
A plethora of impact.
A plimpact. That's not even a word. I'm not going to try.
There's a smoking impact crater that is our podcast upon the world.
Double impact crater. There we go. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one. 30podcast.com is where you can find more episodes of our show. If you want to check out past episodes, leave us a voicemail, join us on Patreon. We appreciate all those that have been supporting us there, just kind of helping keep the lights on here at the show. We always say this, we just do this because we have fun, but there is a little bit of a cost involved. So any way that you can be helping out, if you can't help out financially, like we know there's a lot of stuff going on right now and a lot of people are hitting hard times. So even if it's just sharing the show, if you've been enjoying it and you want to share it with somebody else that you think might enjoy, bunch of guys talking about 80s and 90s movies, then go ahead and share that on Twitter and all the other different social medias. But if you are able to join us on Patreon, we do have some exclusive episodes that come out each month that you get if you are a supporter on Patreon. So we would look forward to seeing you over there if that is possible for you. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this episode. Our next episode's coming up. We've got, coming up here in just a little bit this month, we've got Clash of the Titans is actually our Patreon exclusive episode for this one. That one came out in 81, so it's hitting its 40th anniversary. And then for the rest of this month, we've got Backdraft and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
Nice.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. I'm going to say something real quick about Ninja Turtles 2 because I watched it about a week ago, about a week ago. And I had some interesting thoughts about Ninja Turtles 2. And I'm kind of looking forward to talking about it because I know we just recently did Ninja Turtles 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll pique everybody's curiosity and say Ninja Turtles 2 better? ?
Oh.
And I haven't fully decided that yet.
Interesting.
I got to think about it. Might have to watch the movie one more time. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks.
All right, man. A couple of weeks.
Throw that out there. Let that percolate a little bit. I think I just added an extra U to percolate.
You did.
I
wasn't going to say anything.
Well,
I'm just going to let it roll.
I was going to let it, I'm from the South, so I figured it's kind of like nuclear.
Go.
That Superman villain in Superman 4, Nuclear Man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to buy a vowel, Pat.
Tell you what I'd do. I'd write a letter to Superman. All right. God, that's a horrible movie. Anyway, we've already done that one. We're moving on. We're in 91. Rest of the month, Backdraft, Ninja Turtles 2. Everybody, be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies. and we'll see you back here next time.